and welcome to Date with the Divas. Thank you for clicking on our video. And you know you're going to enjoy it, so you might as well just click on that subscribe button if you haven't already. And while you're at it, hit on the notifications bell so you never miss out on our latest and greatest videos. And Entourage, you know what to do. Grab your beverage of choice. And Ms. Lava is going to begin us with the shenanigans once again.
Well, it seems like, it's just going to be an intimate
Setting.
discussion, an intimate setting with us three ladies and you, of course, Entourage. Um, uh, so we're going to start off with a topic that may be a little disgusting that I found on the Shade Room, where a Houston restaurant manager found out that his employee, Marcus Davis, is a restaurant owner who owns several restaurants around the Houston area, found out that his employee, Othello Holmes, who was hired as a cook, had been putting his bodily, his body, his organs,
His penis.
his penis inside of the breakfast jam and other items.
Damn.
It's just,
Oh, damn.
So, he was Marcus, Davis was kind of shocked because, he was basically indicating that, his employees go, undergo a strict background check and things of that nature. But this employee basically was, caught putting his genitals in the breakfast jelly and tampering with open food items, and then, then proceeded to record it and then basically distribute proof that he was actually doing it, that he was doing it. So,
Who did it to
upon
who was he distributing it to?
apparently he had just sent it out, sent it
I know
out.
he had like a chat page or something like
Yeah.
that. So he was.
Yeah, and what happens when they were investigating it, they found other stuff on his phone and caught, they found, graphic sexual images and videos of children and things of that nature. So I think he was just distributing, like Joe said, on a chat page or whatever, basically proving that he was putting his genitals inside of the morning jam. So the Shade Room basically questions and said, like, what is law enforcement doing, in regards to things like that, and how can we prevent, things like this from happening? My thought was just like, you go to a restaurant, and this is the thing where you always want to be kind to your server because you don't know what they're going to do to your food, because they're serving it to you. You don't know if they're going to spit in it. And then it reminds me of Color Purple when she spit inside of the water. The lemon was the water, and then she swirled it around. And it just, to me, it just screamed like, I was really disgusted by what he did, but it just screamed, and this is the sad part to say, about just being kind, to people.
Wait, was
And
he doing it in retaliation?
that's the thing,
No.
is no
He
one
said
knows.
I read someplace where he was trying to say like he felt like was something he had to do, and he did it for like a gratification, like a sexual gratification.
For gratification.
And that he stopped himself prior to completion. So that was supposed to be okay. Well,
I like how you put that. He stopped himself prior to
Oh, he was
completion.
doing it as like a self-stimulation.
Yes.
Okay. So it has
And I thought it was too. I thought it was too.
kind wouldn't have prevented him from doing this.
Yeah, right.
Yes,
In this instance, but she's saying on another name.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what it just made me say, like, you can't, like, people in this frame of mind are going to be, those are the people that I don't want to understand why they did it, because then that would make me a part of that little clique and understand.
Or maybe I don't know, have somewhat of empathy, I guess. I don't know if he's saying that this was an urge for him. I mean, I
But
don't know.
surely you can stimulate yourself in the jam at home with your jam.
Yes.
And
Clearly.
Not Teddy's jam, but his own jam.
And why does it have to be
Othello's
the
jam.
jam that's given to everybody?
Yeah.
You could have just did that and just did that in your own little corner.
So that was the kink. The kink was making other people eat
People eat the jam.
stuff that he had done that with without
Which
their knowledge.
exactly, which made me question when he was saying, it was his for his self, gratification, but you could have chosen how you wanted to do it.
What to
Just what
do.
you said, you could have gotten your own set of jam at home, or whatever foods or whatever that made you feel
Got
good
your
to do that, but you didn't have to use what was being served to the public, and that
exactly.
to me is malicious.
Very much so. And that's when I thought again, like, did the restaurant owner do something to him? Was he maltreated? So it kind of wondered, but then the next thing I think of is mental health. But then again, then the graphic images, the sexual images of it, that they found throughout the investigation. So it was like, you know, it just was like a Pandora's box of a lot of stuff. So but it was just, I'm sorry, I just thought it was just nasty, but it was one of those things that you just wanted to know a little bit more.
No, 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 and I get you, and I get your correlation with the fact that we always thinking, okay, be good to your servers because they might try and do something or whatever. You hope that that's not the case.
Case.
But for the most part, I mean, this we get the servers know what they're doing and doing their job, and everybody's happy with their service, right?
You hope everyone's happy with their service. And again, you hope that people aren't just being malicious because they're having a bad day, and just treating everybody like that. But yeah, I just found it very interesting, even though it was disgusting. You
Yeah,
know,
the restaurant is taking, their necessary steps to one, prevent and to take care of their restaurant. They closed the restaurant. They were doing all this cleaning and things like that. Because since he was the cook, I guess he had access to
a
everything.
lot. Exactly. And the
So
thing is, what can you do? I'm thinking like he's saying that, you can do as many background checks as possible. That what can you do to prevent, something like this?
yeah, that
I mean, is that typical in the restaurant business to do background checks? I don't feel like it
I
is.
don't know. I don't know.
I feel like he made that
Or
up.
how deep you
A
could do
deep.
something like that. Like I don't know. Yeah.
My thing is just like with any job, you want to, screen people, but just like you said, it's like how deep can you? He's a cook.
Yeah. Well, what are we concerned about when we look into his background? What?
Yeah.
And I wondered, like, so they didn't find anything, clearly, because they hired him. And so what does that mean? People are, listen, you have child molesters and people who do bad things like that, so it doesn't really mean anything. But yeah.
I think it was necessary for the restaurant owner to take responsibility for this. Who would imagine anyone would be doing
Right. Yeah. This
Exactly.
all they can do is what is that they did.
They do.
They had to close down the restaurant and go buy, do whatever they had to do in terms of cleaning or whatever. But I'm like you, Andres. I don't know how much more they could have done.
And what do you do in terms of sanitary? Does that mean like if he had access to a lot of stuff, that's
They
like
got to throw everything out.
exactly, you take
That's
a
a lot of
huge
money.
hit
Yeah.
on everything because you don't know what he did. Did he put some stuff in the salt? Did he put some stuff? You just start thinking about everything. You just like, let's just start fresh.
And even like the patrons that had visited in the past, like did he do something,
So there will be lawsuits.
Yeah, like it makes you just wonder, I knew I was gonna
There will be.
I had to do that. I had to do
yeah.
because in my mouth it was just coming back up.
Yeah, well.
So Entourage, give us some comments. What are your thoughts?
Did the restaurant do enough? Could they do more?
Could they do more? And what, as patrons, sometimes we need to think about that too. We need to be kind too.
But kindness had nothing to do with this.
I know, but I'm just, but
His
the thing is
death.
that's the only thing that I can think of when I just, think of, like, again, Color Purple, we just.
Color Purple. What about the Help? Didn't she take a shit in that guy?
Oh yeah, that's right.
Made
The
them
Help. I
high.
forgot about that too. She made a whole pie.
And then American Pie, remember?
Oh yeah.
This, just be nice to people.
Just be nice to people.
You don't know what people are doing.
Exactly. And
That
people
was
just don't
important.
put your organs inside of, stuff. Yeah. Let's
Just be nice to your
just be
servers.
nice.
Because
Yeah, if you want to do that for your own stuff. Not for
Exactly.
the public to consume, put it that way.
Exactly.
Because the cook, to be truthful, doesn't have any interaction with the patrons.
Mm-hmm.
So you can be as nice to the waitresses and the waiters as you want. The cook was doing something completely different on his own.
Sometimes, like Mel's Diner, you get fruit cup, pick it up. This.
It's stupid.
Next. Sometimes in those small, quaint places, sometimes the cook kind of comes out and, I'm assuming, like, I don't know what type of caliber of restaurant this guy,
Oh yeah, that's true too.
had.
Well,
So was it one of, a mom and pop type restaurant where you can see the cook in the back? But, I was wondering like what type of establishment that they had. And apparently he had several businesses. So I'm wondering like, was this, sometimes people have different grades of, so maybe, yeah. Okay. So anyway, in the comments, just let us know what you think. So again, so the next topic that I have was something that I found, it was kind of interesting. Like we have been talking about Diddy and, some of the things that have come out, and Diddy's just keeps hitting the news. And so Jaguar Right, it came out on YouTube and Instagram, just basically talking about Diddy. Jaguar White is, when I saw the post, I was looking, I was like, why do I feel like I know her? And then looking about it, she was, I want to say she was an artist, a music artist. Apparently she, had done some background music for Jay-Z and other people. She had a couple of albums, but now she seems to be like this know-all about things in the industry.
mm-hmm.
And apparently she keep coming for Diddy. And so one of the first thing that I had saw, which was on YouTube, was that she was fascinated with the whole Uptown Records. Mm-hmm. So, like Puffy started Uptown Records along with Andre Harrell, mm-hmm. Heavy D, mm-hmm. And Andre Harrell, Heavy D, I'll Be Sure. And Kim Porter was like the secretary. I think she was a secretary, and she did like basically everything. She was like Andre Harrell's like assistant, mm-hmm. And she did
that until we looked into this story.
Yeah,
information for me. So that's how Diddy met her. I didn't know.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And so she did everything for Andre Harrell. She was his assistant or whatever, and so they started Uptown Records. So apparently,
isn't that a good picture of Al B. Sure?
I know, right?
That was because you know what happened. You remember
he's a handsome gentleman though.
He's very handsome.
He always.
But he lost it. He started to lose weight. He had lost some weight after he got sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so yeah, that's a very nice picture. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's when he was sick. Yeah.
Yeah, that's when he was sick. So what Jaguar Wright was basically, talked about this like conspiracy, mm-hmm. basically like, with everything that's coming out with Diddy, like a lot of people apparently knew some of the things that he had been involved in. And apparently each one of them right about now, the only person living from Uptown Records is Diddy. Mm-hmm. So she goes on to say, basically,
and I'll be sure.
I'll be sure. Mm-hmm. And living off by a thread.
And recovering,
from a thread. And so she started out saying by like Andre Harrell had passed, he had like a heart attack. Heavy D had passed. He had some sort of heart attack, heart problems or whatever. And Kim, they couldn't figure out like what was wrong. They were intimating something about a heart or whatever. She was intimating like, drugs can be given to people and cause like, make it seem like it's natural causes and things of that nature, and how they were all close to him. And apparently everybody was writing, and then last was I'll Be Sure, basically in essence, and he had some sort of failure, and he was hospitalized and in a coma for a significant amount of time.
Right.
So she goes on to basically intimate that they were all writing some sort of tell-all book, or in the process
Biography.
of doing some sort of production of their life story or whatever, which would entail a huge portion of Uptown Records because their careers basically blossomed throughout that. Basically saying that Diddy, probably had something to do with it. And then on the streams of that, then, next thing I see, Joe, which you enlightened us to, was the fact that there's a TMZ presents the downfall of Diddy that's coming out on Tubi. Is that how you pronounce it? Tubi, Tubi? And it's apparently streaming for free. So I'm interested in what that looks like. And so, yeah. What are your thoughts about the controversy of Diddy and Jaguar White basically spilling the tea? And I'm trying to understand how she knows all of this, but hey.
Well, to me, she started. I mean, they were they. When I say they, I'm just saying, what I heard on listening on YouTube and what have you. It's kind of like all the things she's saying was kind of like premonition, like a Nostradamus kind of effect. And she was also, or is, I'm not even sure if it's is still because of the way she's calling out everybody, but she was in the melees of, the industry or what have you. So from her saying she's seen a lot of things. And so I guess she's putting two and two together, or her two and two together, and these things are coming out. But she's said these in the past, and now some things are coming to fruition, which in particular, this Diddy stuff. So I don't know, I guess to a point she has a point because things have come out. She just has a lot to say, a lot of insight. Good or bad, but it is what it is.
To tag on to that is just like, again, she apparently was in the know, and sometimes like people may not be big on the outside, but
Right.
they're like integral on the inner workings, because
Yes.
they may not have, like, she had 2 albums, but apparently she was doing background stuff, and so you're around everybody, so that person that's just kind of like sitting in the corner and here is at the right place at the right time
Every time.
So I'm assuming that may be the case. And the thing is, like, I didn't recognize, it's like, and when I heard her name, I was like, why did I was trying to figure out, like, to connect her with a song or something, that could kind of like, just spark something in my mind. And then I looked at her pictures then, and then I looked at her now.
Yeah,
And I was just like,
mm-hmm.
it didn't, jive anything. But again, those people that are in the background, they hear all, and they're just sipping their tea while they're listening and watching everything. But I just found it, very profound that she just came. She's coming real hard for him.
Yeah, for him and a lot of people. And she mentioned she was getting like, I guess people put her address out there, her phone number, she had to change her phone number, and getting threats and things like this. People put out that she was trying to hurt herself or what have you, and the police came to her house and things like this. So, I guess maybe, there's some truth to some of
You
what
think there's a certain level of irresponsibility, though, in accusing someone of murdering 4 people when you have
it's,
nothing to go on but your little instincts and your gut feelings? Like,
I don't know that it can be
wildly irresponsible.
it can be irresponsible, yes. But then you kind of think of, I mean, and I'm not saying yes or no, but I kind of think of like a whistleblower, kind of person that.
But one assumes whistleblowers have direct knowledge of the situation,
Well,
right?
she's saying she has
She
some
does,
knowledge of
exactly.
various
No, these people
things.
died of natural cause. Kim Porter died of pneumonia. That's in the report.
Right, but she mentioned that there was a change in our autopsy report. I don't know if it's true or not. I have
There's
no.
only one autopsy report that came out, and apparently she had pneumonia-like symptoms, that she went to the hospital, and then she went home and she died. And Andre Burrell, he died of some type of natural causes. Like, you don't have knowledge of this. This is just something, these are pieces of the puzzle that you're putting together in your mind. I just feel it's wildly irresponsible to accuse a man of murder, of murdering 4 people. It's one thing to say, oh, this person walked into Diddy's house, slipped on a banana, and died. And then Andre Burrell walked into Diddy's house, slipped on a banana, and died. And then Kim Porter walked into Diddy's house and slipped on the avocado and died. You know what I mean? Like, that's okay. Yes, we've got something to go on here. But people in different homes, in different states, in different times die of natural causes, and you're going to draw it back to this man because he knew them? I just feel like I just felt like it was wildly irresponsible and crazy. Let's just say she's right. Is that the person you really want to be publicly calling out? Because
What is it?
It takes
just one voice, right? It takes just one voice for people to start to listen, maybe. I don't know.
Do you want to mess with somebody that can make you die of natural causes?
Maybe she's taking one for the team. She's gonna be
Maybe
like, look,
so.
I'm dead.
She's
Look,
clairvoyant.
look,
Miss Cleo, she knows. She hasn't seen her death.
So when you die of pneumonia, Jaguar Right, you know,
then we go.
we'll all know.
Kind of messed up. But no,
that was my thing. Like, when you watch movies and somebody blackmails the killer, I'm like, but he's a killer. Like, what do you think's gonna happen? Blackmailing this person.
You're smarter.
Like, what do you think the killer's gonna do in response?
But this goes back to my, the Olivia Pope days. You remember all of that stuff was happening. We just didn't know any better, and we were just like, oh, okay, it was pneumonia. But no, all this stuff was happening in the background,
No, Joe, let's be realistic. If he was really this person,
no, I get you.
Wouldn't Cassie have been number 1 on the chopping block? Instead of paying this girl $30 million, wouldn't it have been easier just to make her die of a heart attack?
Or he could wait 5 years later just to really get.
But she's already done her damage, though. The damage is done. The money is paid. His career is ruined. It started all of this trouble for him. If he was this person that Jaguar Right is making him out to be, once he knew what she was up to, wouldn't it have made more sense for him to just kill her? Or, I'm sorry.
Yeah. But, a true mastermind lays in wait.
But I think he waited too long on this one. Slipping, Diddy, you slipping. That's the one that took you out, not Kim Porter.
Right? Although she was writing a tell-all. Hello? That was Jaguar's point. Yeah, I don't know. Like, that aside, her talking about other things that I think some things she did see, and some things, again, to me, like you said, Antri, she's putting things together. Yeah, it's a lot of it is inflammatory.
Yes.
But at the same time, some things are coming to light.
Me personally, I would not put that on another human being if I didn't know it to be true. I just would not do that. It's one thing to talk to your friends at dinner. It's another thing to get on the whole internet.
Oh, it's true.
Yeah, no, I get you. And then, but again, she's being that one voice and just saying, look, just kind of listen, just think about it. I don't know.
I mean, Jaguar Right doesn't know people who died. Like, can we, you know what I mean? Like, we could all be accused of killing people.
Yes, in her mind,
she's in her mind, she believes
Yeah,
There is a correlation.
Correlation between everybody that, started Uptown, who's riding in.
Jaguar, one day Diddy's gonna die. And then all the Uptown people will be dead. Like life works. People live and then
slipping on an avocado at Aunt Tree's house. Then Jaguar's gonna come for Aunt Tree's.
Like one day they'll all be dead. That's how life works.
So yeah. I'm just like I'm listening to her stuff and just sometimes you just be like,
which is what she's expecting.
And which is what she wants. Mm-hmm. And I guess if, like you said, when you've been sitting around and been a mouse in the background, you're trying to find some sort of significance. So,
or like you said, you were the mouse in the background, but you did see a lot of things. You know, and you're
surmising a lot.
And for her too, things have occurred to her too. So she does have I guess she did have a better than a bird's eye view of.
My advice, Jaguar, is write some songs, write a movie, instead of attacking people who've accomplished things in the creative world, create something of your own with all of these ideas and thoughts and energy. Instead of trying to take people down, create something. That's my advice.
Unless you have some true facts, some solidified facts, bring it to the police.
Take it to the DA.
Exactly, take it to the police.
Not to the internet.
Although, now the internet is the police, so.
Yeah, I mean, we can, string people up, and that's our new method of stringing people up in the streets, right?
Right, now that's how they have this cancel culture, right? Is just put it on social media, and there we go. Guilty before innocent, or right? That would be the backwards.
It's supposed to be innocent before,
right? But
guilty. But in other words, you're guilty before you get a chance to prove you're innocent. And like you said, cancel culture. So Entourage, let us know your thoughts. Drop down some comments. Click on that subscribe button. Let us know what you think. Ladies, it has been, that's all I have for you today. It's been short and sweet.
All right, then. Well, good night, everyone, and see you
next night.
Good night. Be nice to your servers.
Yes. And don't spread rumors when you don't have information.